Hello students, my name is Dr. Piyush Mathur. I am from Department of Botany, University of North Bengal. Today I will discuss the topic of soil pollution, which is the part of your skill enhancement course 2 under the subject of environmental studies. The contents of my presentation will be as follows. First I will start with discussion on what is soil. Then I will tell you something about various physical chemical properties of soil. Then a brief about soil structure, followed by soil nutrients and their importance. Then I will discuss about the biological properties of the soil. Then a very important topic of the presentations would be what are the various causes of the soil pollution. Then how we can prevent this soil pollution. So first I'll start with soil. What is soil? Soil is a mixture of minerals, dead and living organisms that constitute organic materials, air and water. These four components, basically minerals, organic matter, air and water, they react with one another in various different ways and make this soil one of the most important and dynamic natural resource. Soil is used by the people in various ways, and because of its various uses, it has many definitions. If you see, an engineer may view soil as a material upon which an infrastructure is built, while a diplomat may refer to soil as a nation's territory. From a soil science scientist perspective, soil is a surface mineral or organic layer of the earth that has experienced some degree of physical, biological, and chemical gathering. Various important physical chemical properties of soil are: first is soil pH. It is the most significant property. If the pH of the soil is less than 6, it is said to be acidic soil, and this acidic soil has many nutrient deficiencies and toxicities. If the pH of the soil is between 6 to 8.5, then it is called neutral soil, and this neutral soil is the ideal soil, ideal soil pH which is required for the plant growth. If the pH of the soil is greater than 8, then it is said to be alkaline. While it is between 8 to 9, it is referred to as alkaline. Greater than 9 is referred to as highly alkaline soil. This highly alkaline soil also lacks many nutrients and they have high toxicities and also sodicities. Although many of the species which are tolerant to this highly alkaline soil, they grow in such high alkalinity. Second important feature of soil is texture. Soil texture is the percentage of particles of different sizes. It is the quantitative classification tool which is used both in the field and laboratory to determine the classes for agricultural soil based on their physical texture. If you see the diagram, there are three major type of soil texture, which is sand, silt and clay. Sand contain soil particle sizes which ranges between 2 to 0.05 mm, while silt particles they ranges from 0.05 to 0.002 millimeter, while clay are all those particles, a constitute of those particles which has less than 0.002 millimeter sizes. The best soil texture which is required for plant growth and development belongs to the class of this clay. This soil texture has many effects on aeration and root penetration of different plant species. Third important feature of these physico-chemical properties of soil is soil moisture. Moisture content is the quantity of the water contained in the soil. Soil moisture affects content of air inside the soil particles, salinity, amount of toxic substances. It also affects ground structure and thickness. Soil moisture affects soil temperature, heat capacity of the ground. Most of the absorption of the nutrient by soil largely depends on the moisture content of the soil. You can see the figure. This soil has high moisture content due to high rain in the atmosphere, and which supports the development of the seedling inside this type of soil. The next important feature is soil temperature. Soil temperature depends on the ratio of the energy absorbed to that of the lost. Soil has a temperature range between 20 degrees to 60 degrees Celsius. The temperature of soil is the most important property because its effect on other chemical, physical, and biological processes related to growth of the different plants. If you see the diagram, the optimal range for different species, the biological species which help in growth and planting is between 18 to 30 degrees Celsius, and at the temperature of 21 degrees Celsius 100% of moisture is available. Same, it varies with increasing temperature. If you see at high 60 degrees Celsius, most of the soil microorganisms they get die. Next important feature is soil porosity. Soil porosity refers to the space between soil particles, which is referred to as the pore space. This pore space contains varying amounts of water and oil. Soil porosity depends on soil texture and structure. We say a good porosity is essential to adequate soil aeration, water drainage, and root penetration. If you see here, there are in the figure, there are three types: no pore spaces, unconnected pore spaces, and connected pore spaces. In those pore spaces, there is non-porous, non-permeable, while unconnected pore spaces, you say porous but non-permeable. Connected pore space is the best type of soil in which the both soil is considered to be porous and permeable. Then another important feature of soil is soil color. Soil color is influenced primarily by the soil mineralogy, which tells us what is the composition of a specific soil. If the soil is high in iron, the color will be deep orange brown to yellowish brown. The soils that are high in organic matter, they are called dark soils and their color is brown to black. Color also helps to differentiate how a soil behaves. You can see in the figure clay soil, sandy soil, silty soil, peaty soil, chalky soil and loamy soil. Then another important characteristic of the soil is the soil structure. As we have seen the way in the previous slides, that soil texture, depending on the different size of particles, their porosity, there are different type of soil structures such as granular, aggregated, blocky, columnar, platy, massive. And depending on this different type of soil structure, there is high permeability soil, there is moderate permeability soil, there is low permeability soil. This permeability, as we have discussed in the previous slide, depends on the soil, depends on the porous properties of the soil. In the right side of the figure, you can see there are large number of air spaces between aggregates and the medium, and there are large pores. And if you enlarge one particle, you can see here there are organic matter inside the soil particles, there are fertilizer particles, and this constitutes your soil aggregate. Next important component is the soil nutrients. Soil nutrients may be divided into two types. One are macronutrients and other are micronutrients. Those nutrients which are required in larger quantities such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, magnesium, they are referred to as macro, as they are required in large amounts by the plant for their growth and development. While micronutrients, they are required by the plant in smaller quantities such as chlorine, boron, manganese, nickel, molybdenum, zinc, copper, iron. And you can see here soil contains both macro and micronutrients, and depending on the nutrient composition of the soil, we apply different type of fertilizer so as to increase the fertility of the soil. Then we come to very important characteristics of soil, that is the biological properties of the soil. Biological property refers to the incredible diversity of an organism that makes up the soil food web, ranging in size from one-celled bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoa to the more complex nematodes and microarthropods to the visible earthworms, insects and small vertebrates. These all organisms, they increase the soil nutrient quality. Also, while some of the soil fauna can cause disease in the plants, the vast majority of the soil flora and fauna are critical to the soil quality. This suggests that inside the soil not only there are beneficial microorganisms are there, but there are also different type of pathogenic microorganisms that affect the plant growth and causes plant diseases. And in short, we can say that all these organisms, they somehow manage the soil quality. They somehow manage the soil quality, means they somehow manage the organic component of the soil. Soil organic component is majorly organic component is majorly seen with the help of its nutrient quality, that is both micro and macronutrients, and with the help of those soil microorganisms, yeah, soil organisms, their decomposition of dead matter and animal occurs in the soil, which result in increase of nutrients in the soil, which are then further released into the soil, and the product which is formed by the decomposition of oil, dead and plant material is referred to as humus. Humus is the most important part of the soil, which is rich in various type of nutrients. If you see the whole composition of the soil consists 25% of air, 25% of water, 45% of mineral particles, while the organic matter constitute 5%. Within this 5%, the humus occupies maximum part, that is 80%, while plant root carries only the 10% and organism carries the 10%. Then now we come to soil pollution. We have all seen that soil is very important and is required for plant growth and development. There are a large number of soil microorganisms that live inside the soil. There are large number of soil flora, plants. There are soil fauna, macroorganisms which live inside the soil. And the soil pollution affects the growth of all those organisms. So first we will see that what is soil pollution. Soil pollution refers to the contamination of soil with anomalous concentration of toxic substances. It is a serious environmental concern because it harbor many health hazards. As you can see in the figure, a large contamination to the soil has been already been done by mankind. Although the major root cause of soil pollution is often one of the following: excessive and improper use of pesticides, chemical fertilizers during agricultural practices, excess of industrial activity that has resulted its uncontrollable discharge into water bodies into terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem in which they affect their soil. Then poor management or inefficient disposal of waste that also include not only plastic waste but also e-waste. In the coming era, the challenges faced in soil remediation, that is decontamination soil, are closely related to the extent of soil pollution. The greater we contaminate the soil, the greater is the requirement for the resources for the remediation. So as we were seeing, what are the various causes of soil pollution? If you further see, large amount of vehicular emissions, excessive use of fertilizers, excessive use of pesticides, sewage from domestic industrial sources, and a large amount of industrial activity. These all parameters have led to the contamination of the soil at various levels. Apart from that, soil pollution is also affecting different ways, like endangering human health. Due to soil pollution, we are facing economic losses. There is increased air and contaminations. It affects plant life. It has led to acidification of environment. It has diminished soil fertility. It has led to changes in soil structure. There is increase in soil pH that has led to increase in soil salinity. So we come to last topic of our presentation, that is how we can prevent soil pollution. Although have various ways, but I am focusing some of them, like direct transportation of unusable and non-recyclable waste from industrial areas to the in uninhabited locations. Secondly, we should have strict supervision and regulatory mechanism for controlling soil pollution by the factories. There should be strategies for the cleaning up of polluted soil through methods like thermal radiation, vaporizing, and then extracting the contaminants from air and water. We should avoid open dumping of waste. We should reduce our dependence on pesticides and chemical fertilizers during agricultural productions. We should encourage organic farming. Constant soil quality should be checked by agriculture departments. Research of wildlife near large-scale agricultural fields to study the impact of soil pollution. Containment of the soil by paving the area to stop conversion into the gaseous forms. The majorly what we can do from our end is afforestation. We should plant more trees so that trees roots can bind to soil, and it will also help to reduce the soil erosion. So this is for today's lecture. I hope I am able to convey many things on soil pollutions. Thank you.